We're live. We are
We're
live.
live.
We're live. Welcome to the Upper Hand Fantasy Podcast. I am Faraz. I'm here with Zach. We are about to get started. 12-team PPR mock draft on Sleeper. Let's get it popping. It's almost July.
Let's
See, like
follow.
I wanted to wait until July, Zach, to like start these mock drafts off, but I
Right.
couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait. I just feel
It's
like
that time of year.
it's that time of year. We have to get it started. I kind of want to start doing these just because like we can really see what the difference is between a mock that we do today at the end of June and a mock that we end up doing in the middle of August. Right? It's
Yeah.
going to be drastically. I mean, it's going to be drastically different. There are some players that their prices are going to skyrocket or they're going to fall depending on what happens. A lot of these running backs are going to get free agent running backs are going to get signed. Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, how you feeling right now? You got the 12th spot here. I'm at the 7th spot. You were the first one to join and you chose the turn.
I love me the 12th spot. And that's just because I like to let the board fall to me. Like I'm not going to be reaching on any players. When you're picking up front at the top 4 picks, any of them in there, 1, 2, 3, or 4, I feel like the amount of value that you're getting, obviously Christian McCaffrey is very good and Justin Jefferson is very good. But everybody here at the top of the draft, we're taking them to finish, number 1 overall at their position or number 2 overall at their position. So I look at that and I think like the difference between Christian McCaffrey and the next best running back, Austin Eckler, might not be that much at the end of the season where, I don't need to use the first overall pick on a guy like Christian McCaffrey, pick there, and then have to wait until the end of the second round to make my next pick. I like making 2 in a row. And I think that regardless of who you're taking, early in the draft, you're not going to mess up. So I think that just having 2 guys that are like tail end round 1 talents and high end round 2 talents over versus, just a high end round 1 talent and maybe, a low round 3 talent. I weigh that a little bit differently than some people, but I like taking those guys at the turn. I don't think that there's too much discrepancy in value between the first pick and then what I get at 12. That's been my philosophy like every time I draft, and I'm just going to keep, exercising that.
Well, we know that you're at the turn and you were going to reach for your guys. That's all I know. So that makes me happy that you're
I
going
can
to
let
reach
the
for your
board
guys.
fall to me. What if someone falls?
I don't know.
To me
I don't know if you will though. I don't know if you will.
We'll
We're going to get into some interesting spots here. All right. Just want to shout out everybody who joined from the Upper Hand community. We got McCann 52 at the 1 spot, Hammy 4269, Friendly Wanker at 1-3. This is a friendly show, Friendly Wanker. Come on. Jay Torres 2406, Soli P at the 1-5, Miles Marlowe at the 1-6. I'm at the 1-7. Akupe 22, Get Wrecked 2, Jace, OG Scalen, and Zach finishing off at the 12th spot. All right. Let's get it popping. Getting the hit and start right now. Let's do it. Are you sure you want to start? I am sure. McCann, you are on the clock. Let's get it popping. Justin Jefferson off the board with the 101. Zach, are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. And I know that you would agree with this pick. I know you've been the 101 Justin Jefferson 101 champion, so far this offseason. You can't 100%. Go wrong. Justin Jefferson, you're going to be
cannot go wrong with Justin Jefferson. He could very well score the most fantasy points. Hemi is not in the room. Hemi, listen.
What are you doing?
I asked you guys, if you can't make the draft, you can't make the picks.
Excellent pick. Excellent
Christian
pick there by the bot, Christian McCaffrey.
Looks like Hemi is a auto drafter. I'm sure everyone watching who couldn't get in the draft is very upset at Hemi 42069. Go check if that's his IG handle, by the way. Jamar Chase going off the board at the 104. Cooper Kupp right before him. So we got Jefferson, McCaffrey, Kupp, Chase off the board at this point. Soli P is on the clock. This is a pretty typical start. Yeah. I would say so.
This looks like an underdog start. This isn't like your home league start. This is wide receiver heavy.
12-team PPR mock draft, 14 rounds. We're not picking any defenses, guys. Okay? We're not picking any kickers.
Ooh.
Okay, just letting you know here. We got 1 flex. This is a 3 wide receiver league. Okay, let me just make sure. 3 wide receivers. We are starting 3 wide receivers, 1 flex, 0 kickers, 0 defenses. And guess what? That's how you're supposed to play fantasy football. Okay, if you have kickers in your league still, it's 2023. Get with
5
the
seconds
program.
on the clock. Oh,
Travis Kelce. I'm going Travis
all
Kelce
right.
here. That was
a late pick.
Yeah, I had no idea I was on the clock. I was just talking. I was just rambling.
Right, you're good.
So here's how it went so far: Jefferson, McCaffrey, Kupp, Chase, Eckler, Bijan Robinson at the 1-6 right before me, followed by Travis Kelce. I went with Kelce here. The guys who were on the board: Travis Kelce, Saquon Barkley, Tyreek Hill, Tony Pollard. All these guys were on the board. Stephon Diggs was on the board. I went with Travis Kelce. The reason why I did that, I want the tight end advantage. Okay, if I'm picking at the 1-7, I love Saquon this year. I think the guy I would have picked at this spot is probably Tyreek Hill. I think it would be between Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce for me.
Yeah.
Those would be the two guys. Because I truly believe that Tyreek Hill has the potential to be the overall wide receiver 1 this year. And it's pretty close. Like if you had to talk about the odds to finish as the overall wide receiver 1, I think it's a little lower than Jefferson, maybe a little bit lower than Kupp. But at the end of the day, I do think that Tyreek Hill has a near close chance of finishing as the overall wide receiver 1 this year.
Yeah, he absolutely has it. And just the way that the offense is built down there in Miami, they're going to be throwing it a lot. And we've seen, even without Tua, Tyreek Hill blew his numbers out of the water, that he had with the Chiefs. He had his best season statistically with the Dolphins, and that was with Tua only starting 12 games. So I think you're absolutely
I'm on the clock. I am on the clock here. Here's who's on the board: Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, Jalen Waddle, Josh Allen.
There was a massive wide receiver run starting.
Yeah, there really was. And we'll talk about that in a second after I make my pick. But it's going to be one of these running backs here. And the guy who I have highest on my board is Josh Jacobs. That is who I have.
I like that pick.
For me, it would be between Josh Jacobs and Nick Chubb right here. That's who I like that's on the board. The best available wide receiver on the board was Jalen Waddle and T. Higgins. So real quick. So after I chose Travis Kelce in the first round, Saquon Barkley went next, followed by Tyreek Hill, followed by Tony Pollard, followed by Stephon Diggs. Zach, you went CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown at the turn. Now I know why you liking the turn so much.
I love the turn. And I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with this wide receiver duo because I'm looking at high volume, which means high security, but also high upside in two fantastic offenses. They're both, I think you look at CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown's offenses and their situations, and I think they're almost identical because you have Jared Goff and Dak Prescott, who are just guys that can be high volume, efficient passers, throwing plenty of passes to their top guy on the offense. And both of them have, the talent to take anything to the house. So I'm going to go with them too. I'm really happy right now. That's a fantastic foundation for my team. I'm happy with the way that went. And then Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, A.J. Brown came off the board after that. Wow, we're flying. All right.
Followed by Jonathan Taylor. Then I picked Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Jalen Waddle, Nick Chubb. And, the question was posed to me in the chat here, right, by Zayas Nick. He asked me, hey, Jacobs over Chubb? And my reasoning for that is just I'm expecting Jacobs to be a lot more involved in the pass game than Nick Chubb. So can Nick Chubb potentially be a little bit more involved in the pass game? He hasn't been with Kevin Stefanski. And on top of that, Deshaun Watson isn't somebody who checks it down. He's had good pass catchers in the past coming out of the backfield, and he's never utilized them to their potential. So that's why. But listen, Nick Chubb is a perfectly good pick in the middle of the first round. I think he can have a tremendous year. He's a low-end RB1, mid to low-end RB1 for me. All right, I'm on the clock here. On the board, we have Jalen Hurts, Mark Andrews, Travis Etienne, DK Metcalf, Joe Burrow, Kenneth Walker, Lamar Jackson, Debo, Keenan Allen. There's only one guy that stands out to me in this list. Zach, can you guess who it is?
Mark Andrews. No, I'm kidding.
Nope. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is my guy. The fact that I was able to get Jalen Hurts as the third quarterback off the board here. Patrick Mahomes was taken off the board by the bot at the 3-2. Josh Allen was taken right before me. And Jalen Hurts, I'm going with him at the 3-7. He is the only quarterback that I'm willing to take in the third round. I'm not willing to take Josh Allen, not willing to take Patrick Mahomes. I think Jalen Hurts has a legit chance of having a a real significant positional advantage over the other quarterbacks, which is not often, that doesn't happen often at the quarterback position. Right. So I like that. So far, Travis Kelce, Josh Jacobs, and Jalen Hurts for me. I'm decently happy with this, but I got to understand that I have no wide receivers right now. So we'll see what I can do there. All right. Or maybe I double up on running back, depending on who's on the board. Right. Zach, Keenan Allen was taken right before you. How you feel about that?
Yes, he was. I'm a little upset, but I don't need receivers right now. So right now I need to look at addressing other parts of my roster. We're looking at Travis Etienne's on the board. I definitely need a running back. I was going to get Joe Mixon, but unfortunately he's gone. But I'm going to go with Travis Etienne because I think that he has high upside, even though, they don't want him getting those 20-plus touches and having over 75% of snaps. Either way, he's going to be on the field. He's going to be on a good offense. He can catch a ball. I'm going to go with Travis Etienne there. That's my rationale. I'm deciding between quarterback or a tight end, and I'm going to do something I don't usually do. And I'm going to take a tight end, and his name's TJ Hawkinson because he was fantastic down the stretch with the Vikings. He had awesome target share. He's on a much better offense in a much better situation. Yes, they have Jordan Addison. Yes, they have Justin Jefferson. But Kirk Cousins has been one of the most efficient. He throws the ball almost, I think it was top 5. He's inside the top 5 in pass attempts last season. So I'm going to go with a guy, high volume, TJ Hawkinson, good talent. They traded for him. I'm good with TJ Hawkinson there. So I like the balance of my roster right now. I would have gone for Lamar Jackson, and I see that he went right after me, but I don't like taking quarterbacks that high. I'm kind of one of those guys that shoots for upside later. I like high floor. I think the guys I have right now at my skill positions are going to give me some good points on a weekly basis, and I can rely on lower quarterbacks later on.
Joe Burrow in the 4th round. Get wrecked. You reached on Joe Burrow.
And he already has Joe Mixon. That's interesting too.
Oh, Joe to Joe connection. Okay, I'm on the clock. DK Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Deebo Samuel, Aaron Jones, Justin Fields. These are the guys that are on the board. The guys that are standing out to me, I think I gotta go DK here. I think he has the highest ceiling of any of the guys that are on the board right now. I'm not overly concerned about JSN coming in. I think Metcalf still has a chance of seeing 140 targets this year. Still has a great chance of 10-plus touchdowns. So this is a ceiling play for me. I'm going Metcalf. Out of the wide receivers on the board, obviously you have Hopkins there. Who knows where he's going to land? I do think there are certain teams that can command, 100, 30 targets or whatever. But he might not, depending on where he lands. What if he lands with the Bills, right? Then you kind of split in targets there, right? So, So I think DK Metcalf is a tier above these other guys who are on the board: Debo, McLaurin, DJ Moore, Drake London, and those guys. The running back that I was thinking about taking, maybe I shouldn't talk so much about who I was thinking about taking since we're drafting with real people here.
Yes, this is true, and they're probably constituting some of the viewers on this live stream right now.
I would say so. I would probably, yeah. I think though I'm kind of happy with my team here so far. Jalen Hurts, Jacobs, Metcalf, and Kelce. I'm kind of feeling that right now. By the way, just a few notes on a few guys. Oh damn it, J.K. Dobbins with the auto pick. That's who I wanted. That's if he came around to me. Oh boy, that would have been nice.
Auto pick is really beating us, dude. He has 3 running backs on his roster.
Now check this out. McCann 52 at the 101. I'm loving his team right now. Okay.
It does look really good. Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, Ramondre Stevenson at the 212. Jahmyr Gibbs at the 3-1. Mind you, this is a full PPR. Okay. Justin Fields at the end of the 4th round. DeAndre Hopkins, top of the 5th round.
Nice Fields could be the QB1.
Very nice McCann.
Overall.
Very nice start.
So to get him in the 4th round is pretty big. I was thinking about taking him in the 3rd round. Well, I'm in the same spot either way. But I was thinking about taking Justin Fields at my pick, but I went with other talent. But I like Justin Fields. I was thinking maybe he would slide down to me, but that would have to be a monumental slide.
Just a few notable names who came off the board. Alexander Madison came off the board at the 310. Okay, that's really hoping that he's going to be that high-end RB2 for you this year. Right. I'm looking at some other names here. George Kittle came off the board in the middle of the 4th round. Soli P just auto-picked on us. Brandon Ayuk. That's somebody that I would have grabbed. Chris Godwin went right before me. So now we're looking at Drake London, Miles Sanders, Christian Watson, Dalvin Cook, Jerry Jeudy, DeAndre Swift. This is a very interesting spot here. Okay.
Won't you do it?
I'm going to go with one of these wide receivers here. Okay. It's either going to be London, Watson, or Jerry Jeudy. And I am going to go with the talent and not the situation. And I'm going to go Drake London.
All right. That's fine.
Drake London has a real shot at breaking out this year. And I know that Jeudy is everybody's darling this year, but I think Drake London is he's actually an alpha wide receiver. And I think that he can actually potentially break out 10 plus touchdowns this year. It could happen. I think the Falcons could surprise this year, man. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, I think the offense that the Falcons have is ridiculous at this point. You know, outside of Desmond Ridder kind of being a question mark, and I'll elaborate on this in just a second because I'm up to pick. But I love the Falcons offense. This one, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a quarterback here, just because he's sitting down here at the 5-12. You know, I'm going with Justin Herbert. He's in a fantastic situation. Yeah,
that's your boy,
Justin Herbert. He's there. He's got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, now Quentin Johnston, Austin Eckler's still there. Kellen Moore made Dak Prescott a very good fantasy quarterback. He can continue to do that. Justin Herbert, he had a down year, you know, compared to the standards that we had set for him. So I'm going to go with him and be happy. And then I'm going to look down the board. I'm going to take an upside play. And I'm going to go with Cam Akers.
Ooh.
Because, you know, I might be getting caught up in the whole Cam Akers is going to be a central figure in the offense. I might be getting caught up in that, but I don't think that's the case this year. Even though they brought in Sonny Michel, I don't care. He's not going to be taking significant touches away. Cam Akers can be the engine in the run game. We saw it at the end of last season. And if that can continue, then I have myself a very solid RB2. And that's all I need at this point because I have Travis Etienne, 2 great receivers, and I got my quarterback locked down. So I'm feeling really good about my draft as well. But
love it.
Like I was saying about the Falcons, though.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Falcons.
What were you going to say about the Falcons? Do you like them this year? Do you like them as a little bit of a dark horse?
Yep, 100%. That's like I was saying about the Falcons. You know, they have Drake London on the outside, Kyle Pitts at tight end, Bijan at running back. Okay, you're doing your happy dance. Who are you taking? I got to see this. Hang on.
Come on, son. Who you think I'm taking, man? Who you think I'm taking?
It was between him and it was between DeAndre Swift and Cam Akers at my pick, but I went with Cam Akers.
Listen, man. Getting DeAndre Swift in the 6th round. Come on. You gonna let me do that? You gonna let me do that, guys? Come on. Listen, one thing's for sure. DeAndre Swift, like, he can go off in this offense. Now, the ceiling is super high. The floor is relatively low. But I'm going to keep up with the theme of my team, and that's upside.
Yeah.
If DeAndre Swift can be a mid RB2 at the very least, I'll be happy with that. In full PPR, I think he can get it done. So I got the low-key stack here. Jalen Hurts and DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit of a low-key stack.
Quiet stack. Yeah, okay. I like that.
All right. Rachaad White was taken right before me. James Conner was taken a little earlier. Now, if I wanted to go with the safe pick, James Conner would have been the pick if he was available to me. He wasn't.
Right.
Rachaad White, probably a safer pick as well. But these guys are like, you know, going to be depending on volume in bad offenses.
Yeah.
Whereas DeAndre Swift has a chance to be efficient like he's always had when he's on the field and play on a really good offense. And if Rashad Penny gets hurt, wheels up for DeAndre Swift. Yeah. Alvin Kamara just came off the board at the end of the 6th round. Mike Williams going off the board at the end of the 10th. How are you feeling about Mike Williams this year, man? Do you think he's going to get hurt with Quentin Johnston coming in? Do you think that, you know, this offense is taking a step forward and it'll be okay for Mike? How are you feeling about this price right here, end of the 6th round?
End of the 6th round, I don't think you can go wrong. The way this offense is probably going to work, you know, it's going to be, I think I'm viewing Mike Williams pretty much the same way as I did as last season, just because he's that role player downfield. He's going to be that jump ball guy. You know, he's never been somebody, you know, that's going to be a route technician like Keenan Allen. And Quentin Johnston's a little bit different than Mike Williams as well. I think Quentin Johnston's like a blend between Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So they have all different roles that they're going to be playing. They'll be able to produce regardless. So Mike Williams in the 6th round, I'm okay with that.
David Montgomery was taken right before me. That would have been my pick there. But I got some good wide receivers here. Tyler Lockett, I really like him at this spot, but I already have DK Metcalf. There's Christian Kirk. I have starred here from last year. Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. I'm going Christian Kirk.
Okay.
Pretty easily there.
There goes Jordan Addison. Okay.
Jordan Addison. Wow. See, me personally, I wouldn't be taking Jordan Addison over guys like Lockett, Deontay Johnson. I can see him going above that. I would even consider Jahan Dotson over Jordan Addison. I would consider a few of these wide receivers over Jordan Addison personally. But hey, to each their own. Jordan Addison can absolutely kill it this year.
I like the role Jordan Addison is stepping into. I look at what Adam Thielen was able to do in that role with Kirk Cousins. Like I said, high volume offense. Like, I don't think you can go wrong with Jordan Addison. I think he has a safe floor. I don't know what his upside is going to be because he's working alongside Justin Jefferson. Staying on the topic of receivers, I need another one because I've gone 4 rounds after taking 2 in the first 2 rounds. I've gone 4 rounds without taking one. And there's somebody sitting at the top that I was not a fan of last season, but I'm a huge fan of this season. His name is Deontay Johnson. Love this guy. I mean, you can't go wrong. As my wide receiver 3, to be averaging
end of the 7th round is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, to be averaging probably 8-9 targets a game, average. I think you can't go wrong with that pick there. So I love Deontay Johnson right there. And seeing as all the other positions are really taken, I could shoot for upside here. Nobody really like. I'm gonna go with Kadarius Toney. I'm gonna shoot for upside here. Go with another wide receiver. We're starting
upside play.
3 wide receivers in this league, correct? So that's gonna give me nice flexibility. I can either go safe with Deontay at my wide receiver 3, or Kadarius Toney shoot for upside because apparently he's the wide receiver 1 in Kansas City. Remains to be seen. But I'm okay taking a swing on him in the 8th round, especially with the way that my draft has gone so far. I love my wide receiver. What do you think?
I love it too, man. I love it too. CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Deontay Johnson, lock it in every single week. All right, Jahan Dotson was taken right before me, of course, because I just mentioned that I love him. George Pickens, don't want to go there. Not a big fan. Dak Prescott, Evan Ingram, Deshaun Watson. I'm going to go look at my flex here. I'm going to filter this by flex. And I'm going to go down this list, see who I like here. I think my favorite pick out of all of these guys, can you guess who's going to be?
Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, I think he's going off pretty late, but I do think that he can make be a flex at the very least, and I think his upside, we talked about this before in the podcast, that I think his upside is, a high-end wide receiver 3, borderline wide receiver 2. I think that's very much in the range of his outcomes, even with CeeDee Lamb getting his, right? Yeah. And I think CeeDee Lamb will continue to get his, be the alpha in that offense, but Brandon Cooks as a legit wide receiver 2 that Dak Prescott, he hasn't had since it was Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, that was back in 2021. And both Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, I believe, finished top 15 that year. Or maybe top 17, something like that. But we know they were both inside the top 24, well within inside the top 24. So I think that's perfectly fine. Brandon Cooks, that's a good assessment right there. Brandon Cooks, I'm not worried about him not getting targets. He demands targets. I wouldn't say
exactly, and that's the point. It's like, we can't really look at what the wide receiver 2 in Dallas has done because they haven't had a wide receiver 2 like Brandon Cooks for a little while now. A pick that I'm warming up on, Zach, is Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah,
in the 9th round here, and especially in PPR, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good pick. Obviously, that was the auto. So good job
on
Hammy by auto.
Good job,
but Juju Smith-Schuster, either way, he's going off the board in the 9th round right now, and Bill O'Brien is an offensive coordinator. So that's good news for the Patriots offense. That's the biggest thing for me. It seems like they've settled down with Mac Jones. I think this offense can be, middle of the pack. I think it's going to be middle of the pack. I don't think it's going to be really good or really bad. Not worried about the Patriots offense. It's just going to be, Juju Smith-Schuster will have his weeks. But in the 9th round, I mean, I'd be very happy with him as a wide receiver 3.
Now, Brian Robinson's here on the board. Okay. But this is a PPR league. I don't think Robinson has a lot of upside. I think it's going to be Gibson mostly. Jamal Williams, same thing. Doesn't catch passes. Charbonnet, similar thing potentially. Man, this is tough, man. I think I gotta go Samaje Perine here. Right. It was a tough choice, but I think Samaje Perine, I need some running back depth. I have Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, and Samaje Perine is my third running back here in the 9th round. This was a pick where, I do think that the Broncos, if it's going to be Javonte and just Perine going into the season, I think Perine is going to be very fantasy relevant in the Sean Payton offense. We've talked about this before. This entire backfield has finished as the overall RB1 or overall RB2 in the past, like ever since Sean Payton was a coach of the Saints,
right?
For like 90% of those seasons. And this has been a crazy, it's not just Alvin Kamara. It's been a lot of running backs doing that, right? I'm not talking about the specific running backs, but the entire backfield. So I think there's going to be a lot to go around here. Zach is on the clock.
I'm very sad. I just got sniped hard.
Zay Flowers. By the way, that was the guy I was aiming for if I didn't go for Perine. Those were the two guys.
Now I got to roll the dice here. I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet.
Okay.
Because he has a chance to at least compete for touches. I don't want Jamal Williams. I mean, he has a bunch of guys working around him ahead of him.
Remember what we say? Friends don't let friends draft Jamal Williams.
Yes. That's how the saying goes. And
this year.
I already have him Amon-Ra St. Brown. Man, there is nobody here I really want, tremendously. So I'm going to shoot. There's not much else I can do. I know there's one QB league, but I have my safe pick at quarterback.
There you go.
I'm going to go with a little upside here, just in case anything happens. Justin Herbert doesn't look good. Maybe Justin Herbert gets hurt. Anthony Richardson. I don't like the way the rest of the board was. I mean, all the other skill guys up until these past 2 picks I've made, I've been very happy taking. Zach Charbonnet, I'm not very happy taking, but I had to because I needed a running back. And the wide receiver I wanted went off the board. It's a pretty dead spot right here, I would say, right now in terms of players that I want to take. So I just shot for upside right there, the 10th round. It's late. I'll take Anthony Richardson at that price. The rushing upside he has, I'll take it. Not extremely happy with that, but
Tank Dell going off the board in the 10th round. Jace must be from Houston. H-Town in the house.
Yeah,
has to be the case because he probably could have got Tank Dell in the last round.
He
get probably Rashad Bateman here at the 10-4. If Rashad Bateman was on the board at the 10-6, I would be doing jumping jacks right now. I'd be doing backflips. Okay. Because Rashad Bateman falling to the 10th round would be absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
I probably would have went with Bateman at the turn. If I were you, Zach. I know you're not a Bateman guy, but
I'm more of a Zay Flowers
receiver one in that offense. Jordan McKinnon was taken right before me. Akupe knows what's up. He knows he knows my guys. He knows who my guys are. But 10th round, I get it. All right. Jamal Williams sliding. I want to see who's going to take him. Jameson Williams, Odell, Damian Harris, Cole Kmet. All these guys are on the board right now. I'm going with Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is the upside play for me. He's a bench player. He's going to sit on my bench. If I have an IR/suspension spot, I will place him there until week 7. And I have not forgotten the type of prospect that Jameson Williams was. Okay. Jameson Williams was a very good prospect. He was up there, right? With Olave.
Right.
And with Garrett Wilson and with Drake London. Now, did I think he was as good as those guys? No. But he was 4th and he was close, very efficient in college. And now he goes to a good offense. And when he comes back, he could surprise a lot of people who've been sleeping on him.
That's been the story of Jameson Williams' whole career. When he comes back.
I mean, it's only been 1 year, man. He got the ACL injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And listen, man, I feel bad for the guy because he was placing bets in the team hotel. He wasn't even in the team facility. You know, I understand. Should have followed the rules. Should have not taken the chance. But come on.
There's Andre Miller going before Jamal Williams.
As it should be.
Interesting.
As it should be.
Yes. The auto pick. Okay, so our auto now has 5 running backs on his roster.
The auto has like the team
through 11 rounds.
He started pretty well though. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna see who's on the board right now. Kendrick Miller going off the board in the 11th round. Jacoby Myers at the 11th. A few spots before me. I'm trying to figure out who I have on my roster now. So let's see. So I have 3 running backs. I have 4 wide receivers. I have 1 tight end and 1 quarterback. I could, the thing is, like, I took a tight end so early. I took Kelsey that I don't really need to like get another tight end anytime soon. I also don't need to grab a quarterback anytime soon. So I kind of had the luxury of just choosing running backs and wide receivers just to kind of see who pops.
Oh, come on,
right?
dude.
That's going to be my strategy from here on out. Right? Running backs, wide receivers, running backs, wide receivers, because I'm just going to shoot for upside and see who ends up popping off. Lazard going off the board right before me. Nico Collins as well. I like Nico Collins, man. I do like him this year. Dalton Kincaid, a little bit of an upside play there, but I'm going to scroll down a little bit, see who else is available. Oh man, we're really getting down there, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's not a whole lot.
There really isn't, man. Listen, I'm going to go Dalton Schultz here just because I feel like he is, he could be a legit tight end, right? Tight end 1. Yeah. Now, I don't love him this year, but Houston's offense doesn't really have much, right? I think it's going to be Nico Collins number 1, Dalton Schultz number 2. So he's going to have some value. And me taking him here in a little bit of a dead spot where I don't like a lot of these guys, I think he could potentially be some trade bait. I know this is a mock draft, but we're trying to make this as realistic as possible.
Right. If he's putting up tight end 9, 8 numbers, if he's like the tight end 9 or 8 by midway through the season, that's going to be enough to get somebody to buy him. I think that would be plenty where you can have him as trade bait. And it's not that bad. Just in case something would happen to Travis Kelce, you have a reliable starter, I think.
Yeah. I mean, my goal would be to just trade him like as soon as somebody needs a tight end. Like if somebody shits the bed for another team in week 1, if they were a late round tight end person, right? Someone shits the bed for them.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz is going to be, I'm going to be trying my ass off to trade Dalton Schultz to them, assuming that Dalton Schultz had a decent week 1, right?
Right.
All right. You just took Adam Thielen at the turn here, 11-12.
Yep.
That's one of your guys. This late.
I like Adam Thielen. I'm not like, like you said, jumping jacks for Adam Thielen, but I will say he's a veteran receiver with a rookie quarterback. He's going to have value early on because who else in that room? Honestly, obviously Jonathan Mingo's there, but I'm not sure that he's going to be able to produce right away, as he develops and acclimates to the NFL climate. Last minute pick, Dalton Kincaid. I'm doing it just because I can. I don't like any of these running backs. I was hoping Jaylen Warren would fall to me. But at this point, there's not really a running back where I'm confident saying, all right, I'm going to start him and he'll be able to produce any week that I need him to, if I just throw him in as a flex.
I do like the Jaylen Warren pick taken right after me at the 11-8. I think he's going to be an every down back if Najee Harris were to get hurt, right? Roschon Johnson right after him at 11-9. I think that's a great pick as well. These are 2 upside plays. That's how you want to roll, right? Tyler Algier, right now, 12 at the 12-4 spot. If anything were to happen to Bijan, I think Algier showed enough last year where he can get a step up in his role, right?
Right.
So I do like these picks. These are great shots at running back around this spot. Looking at the board right now, I'm on the clock. We got Tyler Boyd, Rondale Moore, Jonathan Mingo, Rashee Rice, Zay Jones, Romeo Doubs. These are the wide receivers on the board. At running back, Devin Singletary, Deontay Foreman, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Jerome Ford, Tajay Spears, Leonard Fournette. I do like a lot of these guys, but I think the guy that's really standing out to me is Leonard Fournette here. I think Leonard Fournette's going to end up becoming going to a team and having a shot at being the 1A in some fashion, right? Yeah. Like, I think there is a shot that he could do that. And he was like not so inefficient last year, for a back who's a free agent right now. He's the top get for any team between the guys between Zeke, him. Actually, Dalvin Cook's available, obviously. So Dalvin Cook would be number 1. Number 2 is Fournette. And then a couple spots away would be Zeke and Kareem Hunt. I think those would be kind of and I think Kareem Hunt would be before Zeke too. If I'm a team, right. I'd rather have Kareem Hunt, just a younger player with less tread on his tires. But I think Fournette will likely outperform this ADP right here. pretty easily.
Yeah. Assuming he signs with the team, he will.
He will, and it might not happen until like late in training camp or right before the season starts. I can totally understand someone like Fournette doesn't want to participate in camp. I can totally see that.
That is a lovely pick for McCann, 52. Jared Goff, 13th round. Love it.
I love his team, man. I love his team. McCann's winning this draft right now. Like besides me,
he's doing good.
He has my favorite team.
Of course. You have to love your team.
Of course, man. That's what we do here, man. We roster bait. All right, Jared Goff at the 13-1, Deontay Foreman, Dwayne McBride at the 13-3. Someone has been listening. Paris Campbell, 13-4, friendly wanker. Jerome Ford at the 13-5. Jerome Ford going to have a bigger impact on the Browns offense in his second year, right behind Nick Chubb, assuming that they don't draft another running back. I'm going to be on the clock in a second here. Raheem Mostert just went off the board. I like Jeff Wilson here. He could potentially be Miami's, goal line back. So I do like him. I like a few of these other wide receivers as well. Since I drafted, do I have enough running backs here?
You have 4, looks like.
I think I'm going to go with Jonathan Mingo here. I like Jonathan Mingo as somebody who could potentially carve out a role in year one out of the slot. Somebody who could surprise. Now, I'll tell you why I didn't choose Tyler Boyd. I think Tyler Boyd, he's a good best ball pick, right? He'll have his games, but I think on a week-to-week basis, he's just super hard to trust. He's not the worst flyer that you can throw in your lineup, I think, but I think I'm just going with the upside of Mingo, who could potentially become the number one target in this offense for Bryce Young. I think that's in the realm of possibilities.
It's like, are you ever going to sit there and be like, I'm going to put Tyler Boyd in my lineup this week?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I did last year,
I don't think that's ever really going to happen. So I'm going to go with Jaden Reed here.
Nice.
Now we're really grasping at straws, but he has a chance to actually be, a solid contributing wide receiver on an offense that, Jordan Love obviously is a question mark, but he hasn't looked bad in the action he's been in. So I'll just take a flyer on him at this point. That's all we're doing. And in case anything would happen to Derrick Henry at his ripe 30 years of age, I'm going with Tyjae Spears because he has a do-it-all skill set. There's a chance, if Derrick Henry does start coming back down to earth, that if he decides he doesn't want to run the ball 25 times a game, that Tyjae Spears could be getting, some valuable snaps. So I'm okay. I like Tyjae Spears there. That has quelled my worry with relying on Zach Charbonnet, as a RB3 in this league.
Yep. I totally get it, man. So we've entered the last round. Tyjae Spears, Jeff Wilson, Bryce Young, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones going this late. That's a steal right there, I would say.
Yeah.
So I'm on the board. I'm going to choose a running back with my last pick. I already have Jalen Hurts and don't need another quarterback. The guy I'm going to go with here, I think this was a pretty easy pick for me. Out of all these guys, I'm looking down the board. Down. Chase Brown. I think he is going to be, the early down handcuff for Joe Mixon if anything were to happen to him. If he gets hurt, Chase Brown would just come in. I think he could handle volume. I think he's a decent running back. He's not like this amazing and most efficient running back in the world. He was efficient his junior year when he only had 150 carries or so. But once he went up to like 350 carries his senior year, his efficiency dropped. Now, that could be expected, right? But I think he could handle volume, which is why I like Chase Brown here with the last round pick.
Yeah. Chase Brown isn't going to be really competing with Joe Mixon, but also if anything would happen with Joe Mixon, I'm not anticipating that, but if anything would happen with his legal situation or whatever, Chase Brown's going to be a very good pick because like you said, he can handle volume.
I think so. And that's it, guys. And that's it.
That's the draft.
Before we wrap it up real quick, let me just recap my team and maybe we'll recap a couple others. Travis, so here are my running backs. Let's do it that way. Okay. Right. At quarterback, I have Jalen Hurts. At running back, I have Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Swift. I got Swift in the second round, Jacobs in the second, Hurts in the third, DK Metcalf with my fourth round pick, Drake London with my fifth round pick, Christian Kirk with my seventh round pick. I picked Travis Kelce in the first round. And my flex is Brandon Cooks. The other option at flex will likely be Samaje Perine, who's on my bench right now. Jameson Williams, when he comes back, he's going to be a flex option. Leonard Fournette could be a flex option at some point. And then I have Jonathan Mingo and Chase Brown to round it out. I also have my tight end 2 in Dalton Schultz. So not bad. If I had to grade this team, I would probably give it a B plus, solid B plus, I would say. Maybe A minus, kind of bordering on there. But I do like this team, and I like the depth that I have. What would you grade it, Zach?
I think I agree. I mean, I like
plus?
your running backs a lot. I think B plus. It might be edging on A for me, A minus, because you have positional advantage, like you said, at quarterback and tight end, and then you could just, rapid fire running backs and wide receivers, and that's what you have. I mean, all the way down the board, Jameson Williams in 10th round when he comes back, he could be, more than just a flex play. Like he could, he's in a good offense. They're probably gonna be scoring a lot. We haven't seen much from him, but I like that as a speculative pick. You don't have to start him either with the guys that you started your draft with. DK Metcalf, Drake London, Christian Kirk, and Brandon Cooks are all be able to hold it down. You're not going to be like going to the waiver wire trying to find somebody to replace any of those guys. So I think this could be an A minus if you take into account the positional advantage.
All right, let's look at your team now. We got Justin Herbert at quarterback. You picked Anthony Richardson in the 10th round for some upside. I think that was a great pick as your QB2. This is a one quarterback league, but you chose to go with Anthony Richardson because you wanted some depth there.
Well, depth and upside, you talk about it is one quarterback league, but Justin Herbert, I think this is exactly the type of situation where I would go and take a guy like Anthony Richardson, where you have a high floor, high security quarterback already that's going to be able to start. If Anthony Richardson blows up, not only are you going to have, obviously, with his rushing upside, potentially a top 5 quarterback, if he's anything like Justin Fields was last season, you're also going to have Justin Herbert on your bench where, okay, if anything happens to Anthony Richardson, he slows down again, you can go back to Justin Herbert and be fine. He can put up QB1 numbers for you. And also, like you mentioned, if you really look out in the future, he's good trade bait too for any quarterback needy team. Friendly Wanker, his team, not to pick on him, but he has Deshaun Watson. That's a bet on Deshaun Watson. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if things wouldn't pan out, a team like his or even Tua Tagovailoa, Akupe 22, those guys that took quarterbacks late and are kind of relying on that boom versus the bust, you're going to have options in the trade market. So that's my rationale there.
I hear that. So Travis Etienne and Cam Akers as your running backs. Etienne, he got picked at the end of the 3rd round. You got Akers at the top of the 6th, I think, which is decent value for Akers. But the real story of your team is the wide receivers, right? CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 1-2 turn. And then you got Deontay Johnson and Kadarius Toney at the 7-8 turn. So I think those wide receivers, kind of like the opposite of my team, where your wide receivers are ballers. Obviously, your first 3 pretty easily. And your running backs are a little bit more shaky, a little bit more boom bust.
Absolutely. And I that's kind of been my philosophy towards, fantasy the past couple seasons. And I've been doing pretty well with it. I've been doing pretty good. So I'm not an RB heavy guy. So I think that the wide receivers are where the points are scored. And I'm really happy the way that the draft went. Travis Etienne and Cam Akers, I'm happy with them. They'll do what I need them to do the way that I built my roster. But, if anything would happen to them, if they get injured or one of them doesn't pan out, I'm not really looking at much behind them. So that's the shakiest part of my team.
Yeah, and then you got Zach Charbonnet and Tajay Spears in the last round. Zach Charbonnet in the 9th round. At the end of the 9th, Tajay Spears at the top of the 14th at the end of the draft. Built some running back depth there. Tajay Spears, most likely a 3-down handcuff to Derrick Henry. And then you rounded out your wide receiver depth with Adam Thielen and Jaden Reed. And you got TJ Hawkinson in the 4th round, top of the 4th, a solid pick. And then you picked up Dalton Kincaid as an upside play at the top of the 12th round.
Right. Yeah, I like the tight ends. I mean, TJ Hawkinson, I think he's going to be top 6 easily just because of the volume in his offense and the way the ceiling landscape is. TJ Hawkins, his ceiling, I would say it's probably tight end 3 overall on the season. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I don't think his upside is tight end 2 over Mark Andrews.
That's Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
What would you grade it? What would you grade this team?
Let's look at. Let me just real quick. I want to highlight. McCann. I like his draft. started with Jefferson, Steve Vermondre, Jameer Gibbs, Justin Fields, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown, Javonte Williams, AJ Dillon, Evan Ingram, Sky Moore, Kendre Miller, Romeo Doubs, Jared Goff, Gerald Everett. Great draft. I'm just peeping around here to see if there's any other teams that I absolutely love. I think Friendly Wanker, I think the way he started was legit. Kupp, Higgins, Devontae Smith, Kenneth Walker at the back of the 4th round. Like, that's really not bad at all.
No.
Damian Pierce in the 5th, followed by Mike Williams and Mike Evans, Deshaun Watson, David Njoku for a little stack there, Greg Dulcich as his tight end 2 for some upside. And I like it, man. Jacoby Myers in the 11th round. So I think that's pretty solid as well. Any other teams that look pretty good to you? Akupe is not bad either. Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Rashad White. That's not a bad start right there.
No, that's not a bad start at all. Let me see. I'm looking down the board here. I kind of like Miles Marlowe's team. I mean, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, 1, 2, and then Josh Allen. You have a little bit of a positional advantage there. Deebo Samuel, we'll see what you can get back to, but Chris Godwin's going to be a high volume.
Wide receiver is a little shaky. Wide receivers are a little shaky for Miles.
It's a little speculative with the wide receivers. We don't know what Chris Godwin's going to do, even though he's been historically a target demander. Michael Thomas, interesting. Odell Beckham, possibly a value if he can stay healthy. Possibly.
We'll see. But I'm not buying it with Odell this year. But I'm looking at OG scale and the pick right before you.
Yep.
He did steal your pick a couple times, but started this draft with Diggs, Adams, and Keenan Allen, followed by Lamar Jackson, Dalvin Cook, and James Conner. Now, if Dalvin Cook lands on a good team, even if he lands on the Jets, Miami, whatever, I think that's a value pick right there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if Dalvin Cook could be a solid RB2, high-end RB2 this year, and I think it's still in the realm of possibilities, you ended up having a great first 6 rounds there. But then he also got Tyler Lockett. Then he got Pat Frymouth, who I think could be a top 6 tight end this year. Zay Flowers, Devon Achane, Zeke, Russell Wilson, Rondell Moore, Jeff Wilson. I like that draft.
Yeah, a little golf clap there.
I like the draft a lot. All right, awesome. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. We appreciate you guys joining. Thanks for everybody who was in the community who actually ended up joining the mock draft. No thanks to the people who ended up auto picking just one of them. It's okay, whatever. You got stuff to do. It's the middle of a Tuesday. What are you gonna do? It's all good. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back later this week. We got some more stuff in tune for you. Again, we're in draft season. The content is going to be, focused on you guys having the best possible draft you can. All right. So for me and Zach, we'll be back soon. We'll talk to you guys. Bye-bye.